I think you reference what I use. I think sway. I think you said I
I
swayed a
did.
woman.
Yeah.
You saying that's a bad idea?
Yes, I do. I think you should find
How?
somebody who's already willing to get on your program based on just what they already see you as versus you
What am
trying
I
to
supposed to
convince them.
do if I? I mean, let me paint the picture for you. I'm sitting on the basketball court at Virginia State University, and I'm like, "Hey, hold on. Hey, damn, bro, she fine as hell." I'm like, "Hey, girl, come here. What if I want her?" Because that's how I saw my wife. I saw her
Yeah,
walking
that's
away, and I was
different.
like, "God,
No,
got to have
Dom, he
that
not
ass."
talking about.
You,
He not
you
talking about.
talking about spitting game versus trying to sway somebody to get onto your program because that's
What
the
I'm
reference you
saying,
used.
once I had a conversation with her,
Hmm.
I asked her what she was doing, like what was she majoring in, like what was her, like what she see herself in the next 5 years. She was pedal to metal in one direction, and I changed. You saying that if she's
Uh,
not already,
he so what chasing somebody that does not want you and then trying to convince them to like you using material, using whatever metric you're gonna use to try and convince them to like you is doomed to fail from a man. You can meet a woman and she can be attracted to you or not attracted to you initially, but likes you, and then you're not convincing her to be with you. Like when he talking about convincing, like women that like you, they may not right off. What you got, Andrea? Go ahead.
Okay, first of all, don't believe them. Listen, if you ugly and you are knowing how to spin out on a girl, she will talk to you and she will like you. Okay, people have different love languages. People got different things that, 5 different ways to cater to a person. And it's important to listen to what a woman is saying if she tells you what her love language is. And if it's gifts and acts of service, you don't have to be attractive to buy gifts and do acts of service for her. Okay. So please pursue these beautiful women out here. Even if you fat, even if you ugly. Some girls like fat men. I like fat men. And sometimes when you listen, treat these women like queens, okay? You don't have to be attractive. Okay, look at Jay-Z. Jay-Z, okay?
look,
All
all
right, so
I'm saying is what
KC, what you got on it? I see you got a lot of caps on, Marcus.
What's the original question?
Yeah,
What
Andrea
question am
just
I
just
Okay,
answering?
trying
so
not to hit the
right
mark
now
straight.
we were kind of going on men with their flashy things and what is it that so I'll ask you this. What is it that would attract you to a man as far as him being a provider? What are some of the ways that he could display that would actually impress you or motivate you to think that he would be a good provider for you?
The way that he handles his business, the way that he manages his finances. I mean, these are all things that you get to know once you start, really involving yourself with a person. It's not going to be outright that I'm like, oh, yeah, he looks like a provider. Because the flashiest men, like most of the women said, are usually the brokest, are usually the men that are mismanaging their money. Warren Buffett still lives in his original house. He's not a flashy man. Most of these billionaires that you look at, they're not wearing a whole bunch of logos and things that you outwardly notice as, oh, he's a rich man or oh, he has a lot of money. So I feel like it's dependent on the basis of our conversation. And once I get into how you manage and maintain your business, what type of investments you're making, what type of assets do you own, or are you looking to put your money towards, is where I can say, okay, well, he would be a good provider because he makes solid financial decisions and he mitigates risk. And that's the best way I could put it.
Warren Buffett live in a $1.3 million house.
No, Warren Buffett still lives in his original house
Yeah, it's worth $1.3 million.
now, but when he first bought it was
he
thirty
bought that
thousand
bitch what
dollars.
in
That's not a lot of
1920.
money.
It was
Thirty-one
thirty
thousand,
thousand dollars when
thirty-one
he
thousand
first
in
bought it.
1.3
1950.
million? 1.3 million is not a lot,
It's
especially in
not
California.
in this market. But
That will
his
get you like
original house,
maybe.
he bought the house for $30,000. He still lives there
I
now.
think that's beside the point, but I get what you were saying, Casey.
He bought it
Like
in Omaha. It's in Omaha, Nebraska. A $1.3 million house in Omaha, Nebraska. That's a lot of money,
Look at the
and
house.
it's a nice ass house. It ain't a
Either
mess.
way, it's still his original house. My point is, this is a billionaire man. He could have bought a house that was $500 million and lived there, but
I
he
don't think
chose
it's a
not to
house
because
that's
he
worth
made
that much.
a smart financial decision.
But yeah, but
You don't
I
think
get-
you don't think that Warren Buffett owns things that's worth more than his house?
I absolutely do. But my point, the basis of that conversation is you don't have to have the nicest stuff or be the flashiest man for me to understand that you have money. I have to know that you're making smart financial decisions for me to deem you as a provider. Other than that, you're just a man with money that doesn't know how to use it wisely and you're going to blow through it.
You don't think
You,
Warren
you know what's
Buffett
crazy?
you don't
The
think
more money. Oh, go ahead.
you don't think Warren Buffett does things that is flashy when he says, "Hey," you don't think he's ever invited a woman onto a yacht? You
I
don't think
can't
he's
tell
ever,
you what Warren Buffett does unless you have a personal relationship
know.
and you can
I'm
tell
just
me.
I'm just saying that him owning his original house
Mm-hmm.
does not mean that he doesn't own shit that is
No,
astronomically shows his
that
wealth.
was an example in relation to being flashy. And my point in saying that was because as a billionaire, he still resides in his original home. You don't have to have the finest and nicest stuff to let me understand that you're good with money. You don't have to show me that. That was the basis of my
I
point.
agree with you. You don't have to wear it out on your clothes to show you got money for you
Yeah,
to be
you
attractive.
don't have to do all the flashy stuff. People have millions and billions of dollars in their bank account and are still living very regular lives and
Because I did
maintaining the
it.
same
I didn't
standard of living that they had when they first started getting money. It's
when
unnecessary.
I met my wife, I wasn't at my full potential. I think
Hmm.
I asked her. This is how I swayed her, Trev. I said, first I asked her what was her plans, and she gave me her plan. And I was sorry. I said that wouldn't work with me. I said, what could I do to make you comfortable with being on my plan? And she asked me, what was your plan? Well, paint me a picture. I painted her a picture of where I wanted to be at in the next 5 to 10 years. And she said, she said, I'll do it. And I said, cool. But she gave me some things. She communicated what would make her patient and would make her comfortable with deviating from her path. And I was willing to do those things. One of them was I had to put my dick up. I had to stop. I had to pass up on coochie. The coochie that was being thrown at me all the time. I had to be consistent in what the things that I said I was going to do so she could trust me. You know what I'm saying? I had to spend time with her. We had to meet each other family. We had to get married. Stuff like that. And lo and behold, here we are. So I think swaying, it's not necessarily like using your money to say, hey, yeah, stop doing it. I think the sway comes in where you talk to the woman who's already got a divine position or divine outcome she want, and you ask her, how can I make it make sense for you to trust in me, or what do I have to do for you to trust that the destination
So
and the outcome I have is more lucrative than the path you already on. And I think if we give the woman the opportunity to communicate that and try to understand it, we might be able to come to some type of mutual agreement, or you might come to a disagreement. But at least you've had that conversation where she felt comfortable. Like, okay, I know what you're doing, and I know what I plan to do. Maybe your plan is better, but if you want me to get on board, you can't be cheating on me. You know, niggas want to cheat sometimes. You can't
so
be
the,
hitting me. You know, niggas want to get mad and do
so
dumb shit.
Darn, what you're explaining is actually good, but it's not swaying. That what you're describing is a compromise. You've just listed at least 2 concessions that you were going to make versus swaying her. So a compromise is completely different than you just trying to sway her. So what you're doing, the way you describe that is great. I wouldn't
So what do you call it
speak against
when
that.
she was going this way and I was going this way, and I met her and I said, "Hey, come this way." What is that
You
called?
talked about a compromise.
So she compromised,
Both of you compromised.
You
but
both compromise for the bigger
it took
picture.
for me to do something. She wasn't just gonna do it. I had to do something. I had to make some magic happen for her to do this.
Was that
You
just
had to make an
handling
investment.
the conversation?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like maybe it is kind of persuasive. The things that I given to our position, or the proposition I had for her was compelling enough for her to deviate from the path. What do you think, ladies? In
I
my
think
will voice.
I I agree with Trev in saying that I don't think you necessarily swayed her. It was a compromise, but I do think you had to make an investment into it first, right? So to get her to get on board, she liked your vision, but you had to prove that that vision was actually going to be consistent, that you were going to make steps towards that vision. So you had to do those things, like you said, stop having sex with people, be faithful to her, get married to her, those type of things. And that made her more trusting in you. And I think that's what most women need overall. The reason why so many women are deciding to go out and do things all on their own is because of their lack of trust in men, right? They don't believe that they'll be able to do it. They don't believe that they'll have their back. We've heard too many stories of women making it famous, like the girl on the video said, and then leaving the woman that's been there for them for forever, or making it big and leaving that woman. So it's the trust in that man that he has you and that he will take you along on this journey and stay committed and, consistent with you in this journey that will allow her to compromise and be like, okay, cool. I'm going to follow him now because your picture makes sense for our lives.
I think I disagree. I think that I think you made some valid points, but I also feel that it's okay to, like, just because you're in a relationship, you don't have to give up like your identity. Like I feel like
Autonomy.
discussions. Yeah, like I feel like we just had a discussion about how Mariah Carey and Nick Cannon felt like because he was following behind her, like he was giving up his identity because he was like codependent. Like I think a lot of that has to do with codependency, because you can be in a working relationship and still able to pursue your own goals and your own ambitions and support each other through that process. And I think as women, we go wrong in getting in these relationships and just dropping everything, and losing everything. Like we just drop it. And it's not, I don't think it's necessarily about trust, though. Like trust is the good thing to have in a relationship. I think it's about being able to have a healthy balance of your personal identity and your personal life and still maintaining your own goals and your own vision. And then maybe together y'all can make it something spectacular. Like there's so many women and men who are having, like Jay-Z and Beyonce, like they're both doing their own separate things in their own different ways, and it works. So I don't think you have to give up everything just to be in a relationship.
Well, yeah, for that particular person, yeah, but for me, I told her that's not gonna work for me, and she asked me how can it work? I said, well, you would have to come this way, or you would have to do X, Y, and Z. And she said, well, what happens when I do that? Like, what's gonna happen with us? And then I told her, painted the picture for it, and she said, okay, that sounds good. I think I can be down with it. Not every man is gonna be able to paint the same picture I painted, or be willing to do that. Now, given we're talking about two young people that haven't even got their life started or haven't even reached success and stability. These two people are still learning, which I think is the ideal situation for men and women to meet. But the problem is a lot of the guys that was my age, like it was in their early 20s, wasn't doing that. They were saying, you know what, we were athletes. We were just we was running trains, doing all kind of shit. And when we got to our careers and stability, then we went looking for a wife. Now, once you start doing that, you already got a program set, and you trying to get her to come into that, and she like, you typically go for the women that's your same age first before you get humble. Then you're like, damn, what? She got kids? What? Damn, why all these motherfuckers got kids? So now you got to go down a couple years, 5 years. I'm like, okay, 25. Okay, now, okay. So now you start seeing younger women. So, and then it's still a struggle because most of the 25-year-olds are getting out of college and they're starting their careers, and they're like, nah, I'm already invested. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I say, fellas, if you ain't got your woman when you was in your early 20s before you started to get up to your bag, it's going to be really hard. It's going to be 10 times harder to get you one when you 35, 40, and you already made it. You're going to be dealing with a lot of risk factors.